Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It's Girl MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio. We are awaiting the arrival of Michael Bullock. If he comes in, then great, and we'll catch up on what he missed. If he's not, then I guess we'll see him next week for the next episode of the Cerebral Smack Talk. Of Ridiculously Raw. That's on Tuesday night. So right now we're gonna dive into NXT. We started out with Elijah going one-on-one with Brian Myers. When it was all said and done, Elijah winning the match in 5 minutes and 45 seconds. Um, solid opener. It was an all right matchup. I think they did a very good job with it. It was a little too short. I could give this maybe about two and a quarter, but the outcome was never in doubt. Elijah deserves to get the win, and really nothing more to add. So, Anthony Florio, it's all yours.
Yeah, 2 to 2.25 stars is my rating as well. Too short for my liking. Elijah, the big new prospect, the great new acquisition in TNA. So there was no question he was going to win this match, and he's in. I think they're pushing him right now, which I think is a good thing. So we'll wait and see where it leads to. He's going to be a part of that big 10-man tag team match. Oh, wait till you hear how that ends up later in the night. But for right now, this is a 2 to 2.25 star match. So with that being said, MF set me up for the next match.
And it is a women's match. It was Zaya Brookside going one-on-one. And she went up against, Savannah Evans. And Savannah Evans wins the match in 5 minutes and 16 seconds. So, Florio, what's yours?
I was kind of surprised with the finish for Zaya Brookside versus Savannah Evans, as despite the clear size advantage that Savannah Evans had, they protected Zaya Brookside by having her lose only after Savannah Evans pretended to be hurt. This is another 2 to 2.25 star match. So that's my 2 cents about it. So MF, let's get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, 2.25. I think you're absolutely right. It was a protection more than anything else. It was fine for what it was worth. Nothing more to add. Then we had John Skyler going one-on-one with Mike Santana. Mike Santana winning the match in 1:35. Nothing to say about that. That's a total just bypass. Nothing more on that. Then we had Casey Navarro going one-on-one with AJ Francis. AJ Francis winning the match 4 minutes and 12 seconds. Again, another short match. We don't really need to get knee deep into this one. And then a lot of promo. What?
It was Steve Macklin. It was Steve Macklin versus AJ Francis, not Casey Navarro.
Then Pro Wrestling.net just goofed up. But AJ Francis did win the match regardless. So, yes, and then it's a lot of promo stuff, a good amount of promo stuff, to say the very least. After that, the next match that we did have, and this one I believe is the main. No, it's not the main event. All right. So the next matchup we had. This one was the one we were waiting for. Well, one of the matches we were waiting for. 6-man tag team fight. The Northern Armory. As it was Travis Williams, Judas Icarus and Eric Young. They went up against, I guess you could say, somewhat of the New Rascals. Ace Austin, Trey Miguel, Zachary Wentz. And when it was all said and done, surprise, surprise, the Northern Armory wins the match. 12 minutes, 45 seconds. I mean, well, hey, hell of a fight. But you could even make an argument for a fight in the night honors. 3.5 to 3.25 to 3.75. Yeah, solid matchup. I enjoyed it. I really got nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
I'm going to make a bold statement right now, MF, and I'm going to make it clear and to the point right now. Judas Icarus and Travis Williams are an incredible tag team. I'm even going to go as far as to say they're possibly even the best in TNA right now. And I really hope they get presented as such. This was a fantastic performance here. Fantastic matchup here. You could certainly make an argument for Fight of the Night honors here. 3.25 to 3.5 stars. I 100% agree with the rating. And yeah, big surprise. Northern Armory. I gotta call this a mild upset here because I thought that the Rascals and Ace Austin had held a bit of a favorite in this match. So we saw we saw an upset here. So a big win for Northern Armory. They definitely needed it, because we gotta get them over here. So big win for them. So, and the question now, MF, is this: what does it mean for the Rascals and Ace Austin heading into that huge 6-man tag team matchup at Sacrifice when they go up against Wes Lee, Tyreek Igwe, and Tyson DuPont? What is that? What does a loss like that do for their psyche?
And oh, by the way, they were there. Tyson DuPont, Tyreek Igwe, and Wes Lee were there at the arena, and they were taunting them after that loss. So yeah, they were there. They saw it, and you kind of feel like that crew is probably thinking, "Oh, this is easy pickings now. We got them right where we want them." They're not a cohesive unit. They just suffered a devastating loss. So they're thinking this is easy pickings now. Be careful. Because normally when something is wounded like that, who feels like their back's up against the wall, that's when they become the most dangerous. Ace Austin and the boys, I got a feeling they might have a response ready for those three, but we'll get into that later.
Absolutely, we will. So, 3.25 to 3.5 stars. You can certainly make an argument for Fight of the Night honors. So with that, MF, set me up for the next match.
Well, before we do the next match, as per the usual, because I know this is kind of something we like to do on all our shows. What's up for next week, y'all? So this is what we got. So we got a women's tag team fight. It's Li Wing Yi, and she will be teaming up with the Knockouts champion Masha Slamovich, or get a load of this tag team. From NXT, Cara Jade and Tessa Blanchard.
Wow.
Get a load of that crew.
Yes, we are certainly going to address that. No question about that. Cara Jade, Tessa Blanchard. I mean, with those two together, Cara Jade and Tessa Blanchard both aiming for Masha Slamovich is interesting, as they both went after her this week, but they have had very little interaction with each other. You would think they would have a segment where it would be either, quote unquote, stay out of my way, or quote unquote, let's team up to take out Masha, which has not really happened. Lei Ying Lee being put in that equation shows how high TNA management are on her. So I am very much looking forward to this Knockouts tag team matchup next week.
Not only that, but we also have the Laredo Kid going one-on-one with Wes Lee, and then we also got Leon Slater going up with Eddie Edwards. Now, this is what they call for a team advantage. Obviously, this has to do something with the upcoming 10-man tag. So if you win this match, is there a power play? Is there something that will give that particular team a major advantage? We don't know what that's going to sound like. And then, obviously, we have Zaya Brookside. She goes one-on-one with Rosemary. And for all you fans out there, Joe Hendry will be putting the TNA World Heavyweight title on the line. We do not know who his opponent is now. However, We will find out next week who he is going to be facing off. But we do want to let you fine folks, know the TNA World Heavyweight Championship will be on the line next week on TNA Impact. And for our main event of the evening, it was the Hardys. Matt and Jeff, they went up against the Colognes. The fight was thrown out in 4 minutes and 50 seconds. The system hit a ring, and Anthony, after that, total chaos breaks out after the match was over.
Oh yeah, total chaos breaks out after the match was over. As I can help out with this. What happened here after the match was over? Let's see. Joe Henry's music hits and he runs out with Elijah and Leon Slater, and the system bails. That brings out Santino Marella, and this is chaos, and they must restore order. He says that at Sacrifice, there will be no outside interference because the 10-man tag team match is going to take place inside the confines of a steel temper cage. What? Are you serious? Holy hell. First time in 6 years. We haven't had a cage match in TNA since 2019. That boggles my mind. How in the world have they gone all these years without doing a steel cage match? I mean, it's just amazing. I don't know if they didn't necessarily say, I mean, based on on all the facts we have, it's starting to sound like a possible lethal lockdown match, if you really think about it. I mean, but they didn't necessarily say it was going to be a lethal lockdown match, which is pretty much their version of War Games. So this sounds like a pseudo War Games match, if you really think about it. So, yeah, and that match next week, Eddie Edwards and Leon Slater, that's going to be for a one-man advantage. It's going to be, I think it's going to be pretty much a lethal lockdown War Game style of match. So I'm very much looking forward to that. So I'm not going to rate the match a throwaway match. It was an NA. It was too short to really mean anything. So they only put this in the main event spot to get to the big close at the end. So, which is typical nowadays. So yeah, I'm gonna put an NA on this match, but all I know, MF, is that 10-man cage match at Sacrifice next week. That is going to be something else. It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy, and we're all here for it. And I can't wait to see how this all plays out. So, NA for the match, but first cage match in TNA in years, which I still can't believe. I could have sworn they had done some, but no. First cage match in TNA. I think I read it was since 2019. If that is true, that's nuts. Absolutely nuts. So MF, what do you make of all this?
Yeah, no, man, this is a big deal. This is going to be a crazy turn of events, no doubt about it. And with the way that everything broke down, it was pretty good. So I really enjoyed it. I think I will say this. TNA has really benefited by the merger with WWE, with them having the NXT guys coming along. Absolutely. And everything else. You notice how good these shows have been lately. And again, TNA hits a pretty good show. Now we do gotta complain a little bit because a lot of the matches were really short. A lot of them were under 5 minutes, which is not good. I think you need to really emphasize that a lot more. And and for me personally, and I don't know how you feel about it, Anthony, there was too many promo segments. Too many on this episode. It was like you really geared it to be more promo heavy and less on action. And I think that in a way, I don't want to be really harsh about it, but I think that kind of goes against what TNA stands for, which is total nonstop action. I think you can give us more wrestling. I think you need to find a better balance of more wrestling than promos. And I get it. You want to really build up a lot of the shows, so maybe that's why they were doing it this time around, loading more talking segments, more promo stuff, and everything else than the actual in-ring work. But that's kind of then for me, it was still a good show, but there was enough plot points that you can poke holes into that you can say, well, I would have done this differently. I would have done that differently. I would have done this differently. 7 out of 10 total. Fine show. Anthony Floyd, what's yours?
Yeah, 7 out of 10 show for me as well. I 100% agree. I mean, what else is that? What else is there to say? I mean, it was an okay show as we get closer to the NXT roadblock and the TNA sacrifice next week, and you had that fun opening match to put over Elijah. And as far as Elijah goes, he seems like the kind of talent that would fit in perfectly in TNA. And I spoke my piece about just about everything else. And of course, Ryan Nemeth coming out to announce his big brother Nick Nemeth's return after being rejected to be in the same team with him. Disappointing main event to close the show, but it was followed by the major announcement that the Steel Cage will be returning to TNA after many years at Sacrifice, so that should be good. And of course, we also had but there was one promo segment that that stood out more than anything else, and that was the face-to-face with Obafemi and Moose. That was really good. So, and our excitement level for that match on Tuesday night has just gone sky high, no question about that. So, this is a 7 out of 10 for me as well. So, with that being said, let's get on to Friday Night SmackDown from the Yellow Delph.
Yes, indeed. From the home of the new Super Bowl world champions in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. From I believe it's the Fargo. No, yes, from the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, PA. Like I said, it's not that far from Lincoln Financial, which is the home of the new Super Bowl world champion, the Philadelphia Eagles. And we started it off with Randy Orton cutting a promo, and it's vintage Orton, man. Randy Orton, short, sweet, straight to the point, made his thoughts about the John Cena heel turn, made his thoughts about Kevin Owens, and you can tell it's gonna be this was really good. This was traditional Randy Orton. The crowd was hot for it. And one person on social media was like, imagine a babyface Randy Orton versus a heel John Cena. I'm already thinking about it right now, y'all. That's gonna be insane if they ever book that match. Cena and Orton has had some really good historic matches in their day, and if they decide to pull the trigger on a Cena Orton, with Cena as the heel and Orton as the babyface, oh my god, I think this will be lit. But really nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
Yeah, Randy Orton cuts a great promo here. Solid promo to start the show. And, the long-term booking, that's what it's all about. I mean, I thought he was going to lay it down. I thought he was going to issue the challenge to Kevin Owens for a match at WrestleMania. That will come in due time. Don't worry about it. It will come in due time. But obviously not tonight. But yeah, this was a vintage Randy Orton promo. I mean, he had the fans eating on every word, and it went uninterrupted. So a solid, uninterrupted promo, and which I thought he did a really good job with. And talked about Sami Zayn, and what Kevin Owens did to Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn, all because of them helping out Roman Reigns, obviously. And And then obviously what Owens did to Randy Orton himself months ago, that started this whole thing. So yeah. And Randy Orton put over the importance of him being there for his friends, especially Cody Rhodes, and protecting friends and the whole nine. So yeah, this was a nice promo from Orton. Don't worry, we're getting Orton and Owens at WrestleMania, and we all agree that we're going to see the return of the punt too. And he talked about the punt, and a line in that promo that really stood out to me when he said, "By the time I'm done with Kevin Owens, I'm going to make Pat McAfee look like the second best punter in NFL history." That was great. I love that line.
That's vintage Orton, and knowing Pat McAfee might say something about it, but he loves Randy Orton and he respects Orton. I think he's going to let him get a pass on that, because if it's one thing, Pat is crazy. He's not stupid. He's not gonna pick a fight with Randy Orton. He's not thinking of getting RKO'd, because that's the thing. And plus, unfortunately, I don't know if you know this, Anthony, but Pat's been dealing with some other stuff. Obviously, his actions that happened during the Elimination Chamber and everything else, unfortunately, has caused a trickle down effect that where I'm not going to talk about it here on the air, but some very vile and disgusting things has been happening on the internet, that has put not only Pat, but even his family in some major danger, within the last, I want to say, 24, 48 hours. Something that got brought to light that I saw yesterday that made me sick to my stomach. Obviously, I'm not going to air it here. We'll talk about that behind the scenes. But let's just say some stuff got leaked out that definitely makes me very not happy, uncomfortable. And not only did Pat and his family been dealing with some stuff, but even members of the Toxic Table has been dealing with some stuff lately. And I will leave it at that.
Okay.
So
I would say third best segment of the night here. There were two other promos in this show that I thought were better. So, but not to say that it wasn't a solid promo, because it was. So not much more to say here. Set me up for the first match.
First fight of the night, the WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton going one-on-one with Piper Niven. Oh, by the way, non-title match, but Tiffany Stratton does win the match in 8 minutes even. So, Anthony, it is yours.
Okay, 2.5 stars. Solid match, but there wasn't much to it. Everything they did was executed well, but nothing was especially surprising or stood out as exciting as outside of the finish. Tiffany Stratton scored a clean win with her signature moonsault, but her celebration was cut short when Charlotte Flair hit a chop block and put her in the figure eight. And it was nice to see Piper Niven get a chance to shine without Chelsea Green at ringside. The women's United States champion draws a lot of attention, which is not a bad thing, but can be a distraction during other people's matches. And Tiffany Stratton, I've noticed, has gotten very good at hitting the swanton perfectly center. So yeah, and as expected, Tiffany got that big win at Elimination Chamber last Saturday night, and just like that, the momentum swings right back to Charlotte Flair. So one of these weeks, Tiffany has to get over on Charlotte. One of these weeks.
Oh yeah.
Or else this could be, because the more this happens, the more people are going to think, I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of people in the social media world and fellow content creators here on YouTube. They do not want to see Charlotte Flair win the WWE Women's Championship. She wins that championship. Oh boy, there's going to be a riot, and
yeah,
you're going to have to hold a lot of those folks back.
I know a lot of people are hoping that if Tiffany wins, that this will be like a passing of the torch moment.
Yes.
And then obviously there are those who feel that if Charlotte wins, that it's more her continuing her path of possibly trying to break her father's record, which is the 16 reigns. Because and I get it, and I get why a lot of people are a little concerned about, Charlotte, because every time Charlotte is in a title match, 9 times out of 10, she's walking away the new champion. And obviously, a lot of people feel like Tiffany is the it girl right now. And I don't disagree with that. Anthony, I know you don't disagree with that. And our third colleague, Michael Bullock, just showed up. And I know you don't disagree, where we feel like Tiffany right now is well on her way of being really the next big thing in WWE. We just saw.
Oh, she has
It,
to be. She
and I
really
was
has
going
to
to
be.
say, we kind of did see a passing of the torch on Monday night when Rhea Ripley lost the Women's World Championship to Io Sky. Io now has the belt heading into WrestleMania. And now we also have Tiffany the champion, Charlotte the challenger, but a lot of people knows whenever Charlotte is the challenger, especially in a major 4 pay-per-view, 9 times out of 10 she's walking out champion. So there's a genuine concern. So, welcome, Michael Bullock. You didn't really miss much. Well, we did the TNA. I know you don't cover TNA, so we'll just totally bypass it. We started off SmackDown with a promo by Randy Orton.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, that was a really good promo there by Randy Orton. And, well, first, he basically called out the final boss and John Cena, and basically saying, you were at the, I guess they give the new meaning of the term rock bottom. And of course, let's not forget, I mean, Randy Orton is no strangers to both John Cena, I mean, especially John Cena and The Rock. And yeah, Orton and Cena, I mean, to go at it one more time, I mean, I'd definitely be up for it. But who would have thunk that we would see a babyface Randy Orton against a heel John Cena? I mean, we thought it would be the other way around, but I mean, how weird would that be, Fletch, to have a babyface Orton against a heel John Cena?
Yeah.
I mean,
It'd be
in years
very
past, it's been
interesting.
the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but there would be only one problem for Randy Orton. He would have to deal also with the final boss.
Yeah.
But you think Randy Orton would be, for 1 second, would be afraid of the final boss?
Oh, no.
No chance in hell. I mean, he's crossed paths with The Rock before, and he ain't afraid to do it again. So
The only problem that would happen now is that if he tries to provoke or runs into the final boss, that Kevin Owens might be waiting for Orton. That's the problem that he's going to have, is that not that you got to deal with The Rock, not that you got to deal with John Cena, but there are other enemies that don't like Randy Orton. They might start scurrying out, and they might want to get a piece of the apex predator. Randy can hold his own, but you also know Randy Orton doesn't have that many friends in WWE either, because he's burned a few bridges along the way. And that could be trouble for the Apex Predator.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, but I don't think Orton is going to back down from that for 1 second.
Oh no.
And let's just say, not only if Owen, I mean, not only could Owens have a punt in store for KO, I think there could be one also for John Cena and the final boss. So, a little message to you, Rock. If you want to try to provoke Randy Orton, there's a punt waiting for you. And he may hit you very, very hard. So, don't worry, folks. We're going to get Kevin Owens and Randy Orton at WrestleMania. So, that's all I got to say for that.
All right, and the other thing that we were talking about, Tiffany Stratton versus Piper Niven, and Tiffany Stratton winning the match in roughly 8 minutes.
2.5 stars is my rating for the match. I mean, again, you got to continue giving Tiffany the momentum going into her big time title defense against Charlotte Flair, but Charlotte got the last laugh and put her in the figure 8, and she needs to get a little moment. I mean, she needs to do something with Charlotte Flair, like maybe do some kind of retaliation, because if they don't do something like that eventually, it's going to lead people to believing that Charlotte will become the new women's champion. And you know that's Fletch, that's going to upset a lot of folks, because and you know what? I'll even say it right now, if Charlotte wins the title, I just may go on a rant, because I mean, does Charlotte really need another run with the championship?
Not necessarily, no.
No,
And
because the thing
and I
is, Tiffany Stratton needs this more than Charlotte Flair. Because in order for her to, solidify herself as one of the top female wrestlers in WWE right now, she needs this victory over Charlotte Flair, because if she loses, then it I don't know I don't know about you, it's gonna feel like a burial job, and or as Florio said one time, like that you're gonna job her to the queen. No, it would not sit well with anybody, especially me. So,
like we said, they have a chance to do a passing of the torch if Tiffany some way somehow wins the title. If she keeps the title, this would be a passing of the torch
mhm.
where it would go from Charlotte to Tiffany, and then Tiffany can run with it. But obviously, Charlotte is such a legendary figure. And look, you can say whatever you want to say because of who her father is, why she got into wrestling in the first place. You can say whatever. You can say because it's the namesake of Flair is why she's getting the opportunities she's getting. But at the end of the day, everybody it has always been down on Charlotte, but she's always ended up jobbing it out eventually to someone else, to that deserving person. So I could see where if Charlotte wins, all right, fine, but the reign's not going to last very long. Maybe they cash it, maybe it's a Money in the Bank cash in, maybe they run it back. I could see where Charlotte may cheat to win, and then maybe on the next pay-per-view, Tiffany gets the belt right back because of the unfairness. So I can see that. Obviously, you want Tiffany to win at WrestleMania because if Tiffany wins, she cements herself. Her legacy becomes, she basically gets made. She literally becomes that must-see girl that everybody was pushing about. And the thing was, Tiffany's rise was you could say was somewhat of an accident because she wasn't really a big name prior. Her claim to fame was because of her performance in the Elimination Chamber in Australia a couple of years ago. That crowd was the reason why she got over. It wasn't because of athletic ability. It wasn't because of anything that she did. It's because the fans rallied around her and started going crazy for Tiffany Stratton out of nowhere. And it just kept going. The momentum's just started to shift in her direction. And now since she's been the women's champion, the momentum's been strong enough where if Tiffany wins, and you know everybody is rooting for Tiffany at WrestleMania, if they put Tiffany over, if they give her that moment, you know that means that WWE really is not only listening to their fans, but they also can see, hey, wait a minute, she actually is really good. Let's keep the belt around her a little while longer. Now, does she need it? Absolutely. No disagreement. He needs this moment. But like we said, it remains to be seen. Nothing more to say. So we'll just move right on along. Since we are caught up, the next thing that we did have was a triple threat tag team fight, and the winners will get a shot at the WWE Tag Team Championships. It was Pretty Deadly. It was Motor City Machine Guns and Los Garza. And when it was all said and done, the winners of the bout, in 7 minutes and 5 seconds, Pretty Deadly. They get the shot. So, Anthony Florio, it is all yours. And I guess, can we get a yes, boys, on this?
Yes, boy.
Said
I'll gladly
no
give
one.
it to him. Absolutely. Yeah. In a bit of an upset, Pretty Deadly was able to get the win. They will face the winners of DIY versus the Street Profits. What was the time of the fall again?
7:05.
That's about 2.5. Entertaining match with a few good moments and a surprising but deserved outcome. The SmackDown Tag Team division has been fun to watch recently, so it's great to see every team getting some attention at the same time. Nick Aldis explaining the tag team division's current storyline was interesting. It's not the kind of segment WWE does a lot, but it did a good job recapping all of the drama so far. So there you have that. So Pretty Deadly. And I've noticed Pretty Deadly starting to get some cheers here. There are some fans that are starting to cheer these guys. So
Babyface?
are they slowly building towards a face turn for Pretty Deadly? I think so.
It seems like it. I didn't. And the thing is, if you notice, they're starting to be more like baby faces. You know, I kind of feel like they're. And it's funny because their gimmick used to be very pompous, very jerk-like, very like, we're better than you. But it seems like they've softened their tone, but it's because of their interactions with DIY. I think is why it's starting to work where you can feel them as like these underdog baby faces more than anything else.
Absolutely. So 2.5 stars, a big win for Pretty Deadly. Future shot at the tag titles. They will meet the winner of the match next week between DIY and the Street Profits. They will battle for the tag team championship next week in Barcelona, Spain. Oh, by the way. So how about that?
At the Arena de Olímpico in Barcelona.
That's right. So that's going to be a sight. So Like I said, 2.5 stars, and not much more to say. Michael Bullock, what a win for Pretty Deadly here. Now they will sit back and await DIY or the Street Profits for the tag team championship down the road.
Yeah, definitely, and I'll have to wait and see who comes
And I
out
gave it 2.5 stars for the rating.
who comes out as the champ. So yeah, 2.5 stars is my rating. So yeah, and they have been treated like baby faces. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. So there's really nothing more to add to it.
All right, and yeah, I'll totally agree. 2.5 stars, no doubt. I think we've pretty much summed up everything. All right, here we go. Batten down the hatches, boys. It's about to explode. Bianca Belair with Naomi, and Naomi basically came straight out. I did it. I took out Jade Cargill. And Bianca was in shock. She was in tears. Why would you do such a thing? And the thing was, the way that she was saying was, I'm sick and tired of being second fiddle. I was sick and tired of Jade's popularity and everything else. And deep down, Bianca, you're sick of Jade too, and I did this for us. Well, Bianca rolled out, and she was in tears, heartbroken, everything else. But then Jade Cargill showed up and went after Naomi and left her in the heat. So the cat's out of the bag. We knew Naomi did it. Her reasoning behind it was she was basically jealous of Jade Cargill. She was sick and tired of all the hype, all the excitement, everything that was about Jade. And she felt like that her star, her road got compromised because of that. Takes out Jade Cargill so that her and Bianca can thrive. Compelling argument if you're going to be a heel. But the thing is that I hate to say this, but I didn't feel like Naomi was a believable heel. I felt like it was a little bit forced. It didn't feel authentic. Let me just say that. And
So you're
it's not.
basically saying it's a swing and a miss.
No. It's not a swing and a miss. It's just that the intention is there. The attempt is good, but you got to do more to make me believe that you're a believable heel. Let's say that, Michael Bullock. It's not a swing and a miss.
Oh,
It's
so
that I need to see more
I agree.
from Naomi
I agree. They need to.
before I can buy into her being a heel, because I don't see it right now.
I agree. I agree.
Like I can see Bianca as a heel because I think she could be an arrogant prick, and it will work for me.
Yeah, they need to do. They need to do
But
more with it
but,
because because the thing is, if they can't make her into a believable heel, then WWE is going to look at themselves like, okay, we screwed up.
yeah, because
And
the
and like
storyline's
you said,
there.
and the thing is, I mean, I'll be quite honest with you. I think Bianca would be a better heel than Naomi.
But the thing is, they're setting it up. Bianca is going to turn heel. It's just they're slowly but surely turning her. And as a matter of fact, somebody pointed this out. Why
And
the hell is Bianca out there?
And don't forget what I said Monday. Remember the look she gave when after Io Sky won the title?
Yeah.
The moment I saw that, I'm like thinking, did she really? I mean, did she accidentally cost Rhea the title, or was there some intent to it?
Yeah,
Because if there was intent, I mean, if there wasn't intent, she wouldn't be smirking at like she did at the end.
yeah.
So
It's almost like she basically played. It's like she basically played Rhea to a point where she let the guard down and it blew up in her face. Because if you notice, she was all mad about, but she was rooting for Io and everything else. Maybe she did that deliberately so that Rhea's eye was off the ball just long enough for Io to do what she did. And it worked.
and
Because
that she has a better chance at winning the title from Io Sky than
if
if she
Rhea
was
Ripley
facing
was
Rhea.
still in the mix. Absolutely. I'm not going to disagree with that. So,
So, and this is where Rhea will be like. This is where I think she's gonna get added to the mix. But
well,
remember what you told us last night, Fletch, when we were at our outing.
yeah.
You said something that I think you need to tell the folks here right now. What you said to me and Anthony Florio.
Well, there is a little bit of a concern right now because of the fact that there's Rhea Ripley may have suffered an injury, and there is talk that she might not be able to go for WrestleMania.
So if that's the case, then it may just be a simple one-on-one
Yes,
with Io Sky and Bianca Belair. And
yes.
if they're going to turn her heel, I think Bianca could walk out as the new women's world champion.
I even going into it, even before then, I actually did have Bianca winning the championship. It didn't matter who it was against. I hate to say this, but I don't even give a damn who it was. Something tells me that Bianca was going to win the title at WrestleMania. I'm just saying it as a, I'm just going to be 1000% straightforward with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bianca was going to win the title regardless of what the situation was.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't
Exactly.
matter if it was Rhea. It doesn't matter if it was Io. Doesn't matter if it's a freaking triple threat. I think Bianca Belair is going to become the women's world champion at WrestleMania.
I'm going to put you down on that, Fletch.
So
You heard it here first, right here, folks. Fletch is going on a limb saying Bianca's going to become the new champion. And you know what? I can't disagree with that for one split second.
the reason why is because I believe they're setting up for a Jade versus Bianca. And I think it's going to be at SummerSlam is when we're going to get that fight for the Women's World Championship. And I think at that time, I think Jade becomes the champion. Now, I would love. Now, the thing is that could they swerve us, give us mommy back on top again? Absolutely. But I kind of feel like right now they're pushing for Bianca. And, oh, by the way, Bianca's one of Triple H's favorites. If there's ever a person who's gotten more plugged than anybody in this company since Triple H has taken over, it's been Bianca Belair. More than anybody else. So, yes, you can talk about Charlotte Flair being the golden girl and whatnot and blah, 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 blah. When it comes to Bianca Belair, with Triple H by her side, Triple H has been pushing Bianca Belair down our throats for the last few years. And that's why she's been getting a lot of resentment from the WWE Universe. Not from me, not from you, Anthony, not from you, Michael Bullock, but there are some people out there that are sick and tired of seeing Bianca on top. Just saying.
Yeah, and I think eventually they're gonna turn on her anyway.
Yeah.
So,
There's already fans that are when Bianca won the Elimination Chamber, there were a few people that I know that were rolling their eyes like, really? Her again? There was already that going on, so I was like, oh shoot.
definitely
So I already knew
interesting.
there was already drama coming. So yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's move on. So oh, actually, no. We need to get into this. So, at the end of the day, that's how it's going. So, Anthony Florio, it's yours. We got what we wanted. We got the payoff. Naomi admits she was the attacker. She jumped beyond that. She jumped Jay Cargill. Like I said, I'm not overly convinced on the way that they.
Me neither.
I'm not overly convinced about Naomi's performance yet. I know, give it time, but still, I'm not as. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'll say that.
Yeah, so am I. Second best segment of the night. It was a long segment for what it was, but they pulled it off rather well. Naomi and Bianca Belair sold the emotion, and Jay Cargill's violence put a nice bow on everything. I still think there's more to this than meets the eye here. Yeah, Naomi did it, but I believe it will come out that Bianca was the one who ordered Naomi to do it. That Bianca was the one who ordered Naomi to put the hit on Jade Cargill, because let's be realistic. Bianca thought, since Jade Cargill came into WWE, Bianca immediately saw her as a threat to her top billing in the women's division. So something had to be done, and she put the word out to Naomi, "Hey, I need you to take out Jade for me. Jade is too big of a threat to me. I want to be back on top, and as long as she's out of the picture, I can get back on top." So, yeah, Naomi did it, but let's be realistic. Naomi was only the accomplice in this. Bianca was the mastermind, and that will come out eventually, and that will lead to the Bianca and Jade showdown in the SummerSlam for the Women's World Championship, as MF predicted. So, and I also agree that regardless of what happens, whether Rhea's in this match or not, Bianca Belair is walking out of Allegiant Stadium as the Women's World Champion. There is no doubt about that in my mind whatsoever.
You know what crazy thought that somebody gave, and this was one person on the internet? One person actually said that the one person that you can also see who could make a legitimate argument that they could have been the mastermind for the attack was Bayley. And I was like, wait a minute, why would Bayley have anything to do with it? But then this person made very, very incredible sense. Jade and Bianca were very dismissive of Bayley. And as a matter of fact, they also, because you remember how Jade and Bianca kind of dusted Bayley off because of Bayley's interactions with
Damage Control.
But also remember, he was very tight with Naomi. She's very tight with Naomi. And Naomi was really trying to help try to smooth things over between Bianca and Bayley, where he wanted them to kind of coexist, to work together. And you saw how Bianca was like, not really. I don't really want nothing to do with it. But then Jade showed up and Bianca kind of got in JD ear about, hey, no, Bailey's not one you want to hang with. She's a backstabber, this and that. What if Bailey's like, oh yeah, okay, bet. She and Naomi work together, take out Jay Cargill, and then maybe down the line, it's proven that Bailey was the one who was the mastermind, because she wanted it to take out Jade to leave Bianca vulnerable enough where Naomi and Bailey could do a number on her, 2-on-1, take her out. Then the two most powerful women are no longer there. Bailey and Naomi could do their thing, but obviously this was a third-party person. This was a person on the internet throwing that theory out, and I'm like, it makes sense to a point, but I'm not buying it.
Me neither.
So, like, if Bailey's the one to do it, I'd be like, how would that work? I don't see a clear angle for them to say, oh, it was Bailey.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
You would have to dig up.
Make that make sense.
Yeah.
I think that's a bit of a reach from that person.
Agreed.
Not a reach, but it just.
Well, what I'm just saying is, I just don't see Bailey doing something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, especially now that she's once again popular with the WWE Universe. I mean, do you really want to?
She's on Raw too, so.
Huh?
And she's on the Raw brand now too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing too. She's on Monday Night Raw now. If she were on SmackDown, then I would at least give it a thought.
Yeah.
But because she's on Raw, I just don't see it happening. I mean, I get where this person's coming from, but I don't see anything happening like that.
Yeah.
Just my thought.
Yep. So, nothing more to add. We'll just move on along. Braun Strowman versus Solo Sikoa 1-on-1. It was Strowman winning the match by disqualification in 6 minutes and 35 seconds. So, I guess this goes to Michael Bullock. So, Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little too short for my liking, and obviously with it being ending in a disqualification, I think I can only give this maybe 1.5 to 2. So, it's yours, Fletch.
2 stars, no doubt about it. Solid match. Anthony, go.
2 stars for me as well. For two guys known for their power, they had a surprising amount of speed and energy in this bout. It's just too bad Tama Tonga interfered and caused a disqualification. This could have been a great match, but the way it ended felt like the laziest booking decision possible. So that's really all I can say there. 2 stars, and I believe this is where we had the big announcement after this.
Let me see. I'm trying to check. Was this when we get? No. I don't believe so. Trying to see. I don't see it. No. Are you talking about the Hall of Fame, Anthony?
Yes.
I'm trying to see here because it's not mentioned here.
Unless it was before that match.
It was before. It was before. So it was after the Jay Cargill. It was after the Jay Cargill and everything else. Yeah. So, all right. So what Anthony was alluding to was earlier today, there was a video that got leaked out on the internet, and this was purposely by WWE. It showed Lex Luger with DDP, and they were doing their training. They were doing like their DDP yoga training session, and they were interrupted by Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes made the official announcement that Lex Luger will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2025. He has been inducted. It is official. And I will openly admit that as much as it is celebrated for Lex Luger to get in, and he is definitely deserving of the moment, well deserved. Congratulations, Lex. There will be some people in wrestling communities that is going to openly criticize this decision. Lex Luger definitely is deserving of being in the Hall of Fame. However, there will be some people out there that will disagree that this man deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Because of the fact that Lex Luger had some very troubled moments in his career. One that had to do with steroid use. And then obviously many people feels him responsible for the untimely death of Elizabeth Hewlett, Miss Elizabeth, from WWE and WCW days. Luger has never been formally charged or anything, or has never been in any trouble with the law as it pertains to that situation. However, he was, he has had some run-ins with the law for drug possession and other things. And a lot of people has been very negative and feels like Luger being inducted in the Hall of Fame might not have been the right decision. However, to each his own. I believe Lex Luger is worthy of the Hall of Fame. His body of work, especially during the years in the NWA and WCW, makes him well deserving of being a Hall of Famer in my mind. A multi-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion, a multi-time United States Heavyweight Champion, and a multi-time Tag Team Champion in WCW. To me, they made the right decision. I got nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, why don't you run down the greatness and the legacy and longevity of a well-deserving Hall of Famer, despite the negativities, but despite you can say, the issues he's had outside of the ring. This man is truly a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Congratulations, Lex Luger.
Amen to that. And in Championship Wrestling from Florida, he was an NWA Bahamas champion one time, and a one-time NWA Florida television champion. Three times he was the NWA Southern Heavyweight Champion, Florida version. In 2016, he received the Frank Gotch Award, which is part of the George Trago / Lou Thez Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame. WCW, that's where he had his greatness. Two-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion. Two-time WCW World Television Champion. 5 times NWA / WCW United States Heavyweight Champion. 3-time NWA Mid-Atlantic / WCW World Tag Team Champion with 3 different partners. Barry Windham, Sting, and the Giant, Big Show, Paul White. In 1995, he was a part of the USA team, or the WCW team, that won the World Cup of Wrestling. Macho Man Randy Savage, Sting, Johnny B. Bad, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, and Alex Wright, his fellow team members on that team. 1988 won the Jim Crockett Senior Memorial Cup with Sting, the second WCW Triple Crown champion, and the third WCW Grand Slam winner. In the PWI, he was awarded Comeback of the Year in 1993. 1987, Feud of the Year with the Four Horsemen, versus the Superpowers and the Road Warriors. 1988 and 1990 won the Feud of the Year award when he was feuding with the Nature Boy Ric Flair. 1991 Match of the Year with Sting versus the Steiner Brothers at the very first Super Brawl, and what a match that was. 1993 Most Popular Wrestler of the Year. 1986 Rookie of the Year. 1997 Wrestler of the Year. 1991 PWI 500 ranked him number 2 of the top 500 singles wrestlers in the PWI 500 in 1991. 2003 was ranked number 20 of the top 500 singles wrestlers of the PWI years. And then in 2003, top 100 tag teams of the PWI years, him and Sting ranked at number 52. He and Luger and Barry Windham ranked at number 90. A former World Wrestling All-Stars, World Heavyweight Champion. Of course, Wrestling Observer Newsletter, he was the most improved in 1989 and was also awarded a dubious honor, Worst Worked Match of the Year. MF, you and I remember this very vividly, that infamous Tower of Doom cage match at the Uncensored in 96. I mean, it was Lex Luger with Arn Anderson, Ming, the Barbarian, Ric Flair, Kevin Sullivan, Z-Gangsta, and The Ultimate Solution when they went up against the Mega Powers, Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man Randy Savage at Uncensored in 96. Worst worked match of the year. And last but not least, WWF/WWE. He won a Slammy Award for Most Patriotic, but his two biggest accomplishments in WWE, 1994 co-winner of the Royal Rumble with Bret the Hitman Hart, and obviously the big announcement today that he will be taking his rightful place in the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2025 alongside of the Game Triple H and Michelle McCool. And a special moment indeed. And I know he's gotten a lot of flack over the years, mainly because of what happened to Miss Elizabeth. But the thing is, I mean, the man learned from his mistakes. He has repented in a major way. So much so that he gave his life to the Lord. He gave his life to Jesus. He is a born-again Christian. And on top of that, what he's doing with Diamond Dallas Page, Diamond Dallas Page is trying to help Lex Luger walk again, because he actually ended up getting paralyzed back in 2007. He was working out, and something happened to him that left him in a bad angle, and then the doctor said that he was paralyzed, and for and all these years he had been confined to a wheelchair. Diamond Dallas Page, I've seen the videos as part of that DDP yoga. Diamond Dallas Page is going above and beyond to help Lex Luger walk again, and he is making significant progress. If, God forbid, come the Hall of Fame ceremony, if Lex Luger actually walks upright on his own, there's not going to be a dry eye in that house. Do you have any idea how much emotion that is going to invoke if Lex Luger walks, especially on that night? And if he does walk again, Diamond Dallas Page should get a Nobel Prize, honest to goodness. Because that DDP yoga literally has saved so many people's lives, especially Jake the Snake Roberts. And especially, even though he did pass away a few years ago, for the most part, he actually helped out Scott Hall too, because Scott Hall had a lot of issues, and Scott Hall was doing good, but it ended up being too much for him. But nonetheless, the total package, Lex Luger. I mean, my standout moments when it comes to him, obviously, when he won the WCW Heavyweight Championship in 1991 at the Great American Bash, when he defeated Barry Windham inside the steel cage. Of course, he also did the World Bodybuilding Federation. You remember the WBF in 1992. Came into the WWF in 93 at the Royal Rumble when Bobby Heenan Bobby the Brain Heenan unveiled him as Narcissist, and then it was the 4th of July on the hollow ground of the USS Intrepid when he body slammed Yokozuna, and that set up the big match between Yokozuna and Lex Luger for the World Wrestling Federation Championship at SummerSlam 1993 at the Palace of Auburn Hills in Auburn Hills, Michigan. To this day, I still consider that the biggest missed opportunity in WWF history. Luger should have won the belt that night. I'm going to be honest with you. He should have won the title. Even if it was only for a little bit, you could have hot-shotted it right back to Yoko when you were good and ready. He didn't necessarily have to have a mega long reign. You could have let him hold it you could have let him run with it for a little bit, but whenever Vince was ready to give it back to Yoko, then you could have given it back to Yoko. Simple. But he won the match by count out. We all remember the celebration, the balloons and the confetti and the Steiner brothers and the Macho Man and Tatanka came out to celebrate with him. Special moment there. Royal Rumble right here in Providence, co-winner with Bret the Hitman Hart, which led to WrestleMania 10, where he would lose by disqualification, and that heated argument that he had with Mr. Perfect after the match was over. And it was because, unfortunately, the Made in the USA gimmick did not get over as much as Vince hoped for. Vince wanted to push him as the next Hogan. And after Hogan left for WCW, he was looking for a new Hogan. And he was trying to repackage Lex Luger as just that. But unfortunately, as the old saying goes, it sold like a lead balloon. So that pretty much killed his push after that. And then he went back to WCW. And of course, my all-time favorite Lex Luger moment, August 4th, 1997, the 100th episode of WCW Monday Nitro at the old Palace of Auburn Hills in Auburn Hills, Michigan, when Lex Luger defeated Hollywood Hulk Hogan and won the WCW Heavyweight Championship. Yes, the reign only lasted 5 days. Yes, they gave it right back to Hogan 5 days later at the Road Wild pay-per-view. But still, it was still one of the most iconic moments in the almost 5.5 year history of WCW Monday Nitro when they strapped him on that 100th episode of Monday Nitro. And it's a moment that I will never forget as long as I live. So, but a lot of the comments that I read on social media, mainly a whole lot of praise. A lot of people saying well-deserved, content creators, people in the media, fellow wrestlers, all saying well-deserved. There was one thing that Bullock and I came across on Facebook. That's the only thing that I recall when it comes to any negative comments about Luger going in. But whether you like it or you don't, Lex Luger is going into the Hall of Fame. And I personally, say what you want about all the steroid stuff and say what you want about Miss Elizabeth and the whole 9 yards. But at the end of the day, he's a human being. He made a mistake. We all make mistakes. But Lex Luger repented for those mistakes. Not just, like I said, not only giving his life to the Lord Jesus, but also working extensively with Diamond Dallas Page so he can walk again. And what a moment, what a glorious day that will be when he walks again. Especially if it happens on whatever night they decide to do the Hall of Fame ceremony. So congratulations, Lex Luger. Well deserved. And I know there are a lot of people saying that Diamond Dallas Page should be the one to induct him. But what about Sting? He did an interview with Chris Van Vliet saying that he felt that Sting would have been the perfect person to induct him. But let's be realistic. When it comes to Triple H, we all know that's going to be Shawn Michaels. Michelle McCool, that's a toss-up. It could be Layla. It could be Mickie James. Could even be her husband, The Undertaker, for all we know. But for Lex Luger, the two names that come to my mind right now are Sting and Diamond Dallas Page. But we'll find out soon enough. So congratulations, Lex Luger. Well-deserved. So with that being said, Michael Bullock, come on in and let's get your thoughts. The total package, Lex Luger, the third inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2025, joining Triple H and Michelle McCool.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that's well overdue. I mean, I know, like you said, there's some critics who are going to say he doesn't deserve it because of the whole thing with Miss Elizabeth and the steroid thing. But the thing is, I mean, look, did he make mistakes? I mean, of course he did. But the thing is, he's learned from it. And let's not forget from what happened that night with Miss Elizabeth. He did call for help. And look, if he stood around and waited or just left her, then I think we're having a different discussion here. Then I would say, okay, he doesn't deserve to be in it. I'd be in that slim majority. But, and like you said, Florio, he gave himself to the Lord Jesus Christ, and he's a totally different man now. And also with help from DDP with his yoga. So, yeah, it's a long overdue moment for him, and I do agree with you, Florio. I think WWE made a mistake at the time when they should have had him win the WWE Championship at SummerSlam 1993. That was a missed opportunity for them. I'm not saying that he should have had a good long run with it, but at least somewhat of a little bit of a run with it. But either way, congratulations, Lex Luger, going into the WWE Hall of Fame. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, this was very interesting to say at the very least, y'all, because now the question becomes is what's the future? And we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, there's no argument here. Lex Luger, like we said, deserves this moment, deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and he did it. He's in. Like I said, there are a few detractors, but I'm not saying that there's many. It's just there's a few. But at the end of the day, like we said, to each his own. If you feel like he deserves to be in it, he is. If you feel like that he doesn't deserve it, then there'll be some people that'll probably feel like he doesn't deserve it. I'm not saying that you're right or wrong, but I know there are some people who has heavy opinions on both fronts. So I'm not gonna discount those negative people either. They have the right to their opinions as well. So, all right. Then it was the Strowman versus Solo. After that, we did have Piper, Chelsea Green going one-on-one with Michin. Street fight for the women's U.S. title, and Chelsea Green winning the match in 10 minutes even. Solid matchup. It was about a 2.5 to 3 star bout. It was good for what it was worth. But the interesting part, Chelsea Green's cabinet just added a new member. Alba Fire. She's joined. So now the cabinet is Alba, Piper, and El Presidente, the United States Women's Champion, Chelsea Green. This will be very interesting, but it does make sense because with everything going on, we'll wait and see how it plays out. But yeah, nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, Chelsea Green successfully defends the title, but the bigger story is Alba Fire now joining the cabinet of Chelsea Green.
Absolutely. The ending was surprising, but not necessarily in a good way. It's great to see Alba Fire being used after Isla Dawn's release. But it's unfortunate that WWE felt the need to make Michin lose again in this way. And Chelsea Green sold the hell out of the fire extinguisher spot. But the one thing that really stood out, Chelsea Green dressed up as Cactus Jack. Hey now, okay. I wonder what Mick Foley thought of that. I would love to get his thoughts on that. But I'm sure he probably gave her blessing. I'm sure. So, I mean, why would she wear it? But I understand, street fight, hardcore match. I mean, Mick Foley will always be the hardcore legend. So,
and plus, you're in Philadelphia. That is kind of ECW territory. And Cactus was a pretty big name in ECW.
Yes, he was. Absolutely. So, 3 stars is the rating for me. I kind of thought Michin was going to win the title here, but no. But Alba Fire. Now with Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, I guess that's the best creative could do for her after the unfortunate release of Isla Dawn during those that Black Day of releases recently. So, solid 3. Let's play it out. Let's see how it goes, and we'll go from there. So 3 stars for me, Michael Bullock, Alba Fire, the newest member of Chelsea Green's cabinet, if you will.
Yeah, I need to wait and see how this goes, because I don't know about you. I mean, and Fletch, you know about Alba Fire more. I mean, you're a big follower of her, and some people feel like, and I don't know. I think she's far below Chelsea Green's. What? How do I say it, Fletch?
I get where you're coming from, Michael Bullock.
I'm trying to
right now.
I'm trying to find the right word for it.
Because of her body of work and everything else, that she doesn't need to be in a comedy skit.
That I think you may have said it better than I would have.
But the thing is right now, it's a tough call. Honestly, tough call, tough situation, but I feel like right now, you kind of have to feel like this is probably the best course of action for the moment.
Is it popular? No.
No. But because is it? But will this?
It's far below Alba Fire's character.
True, but here's the thing: it's going to keep her on TV. It actually might even make her relevant. So,
well, I need to wait and see how this whole thing goes.
What it also could do is this could open the door for Alba and maybe Piper now to team up and go after the women's tag team titles.
I could see that happening, but like I said, I need to wait and see what happens with this first before I can fully jump on board with this. So I'm gonna give it like maybe 2, maybe 3 weeks to see where this goes. I mean, if it doesn't go anywhere, then I would say it's a swing and a miss. But I'm not gonna go there yet.
Knowing Triple H and the boys, I think it's gonna be fine. There's been a couple of swings and misses along the way. It hasn't been home runs, let's admit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I kind of feel like Hunter likes Alba. He loves Alba Fire. He's been very high on her, especially during the NXT days, especially NXT UK. So I think he's going to protect her as much as he can. We already know how much he's protecting Chelsea Green. I mean, but damn it to hell, Chelsea Green, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, has become like a national treasure for WWE. She's untouchable. You don't want anything bad to happen to Chelsea because she's that good. I hate to say it, she is. Everybody talks about her, good or bad. Look at the reaction she got tonight wearing the Cactus Jack getup. Dude, She can't go wrong right now.
Yes, but like I said, we'll see. But 3
Yeah.
stars for me, so it's your Sledge.
Next up, we got is the promo by the WWE champion Cody Rhodes. Anthony Florio, front and center. It's all yours, man.
Segment of the night, no question about it. I mean, Cody Rhodes came out to address John Cena's heel turn at Elimination Chamber. With a huge black eye, Rhodes said he is waiting for Cena to explain his actions. He delivered a passionate promo, telling Cena, he broke out his own catchphrase to come get some, and which I thought was a nice touch there. So he mixed the right amount of emotion and anger in his first words since the chamber. Now we have got to hear from John Cena. We need to hear from Cena to get the ball rolling on this and find out why. And when they do, that first heel promo by John Cena is going to be massive. It's going to be absolutely massive. The earliest possible date I could see it happening could be March 17th when Monday Night Raw emanates from Brussels, Belgium. That's
I think everybody's going to be tuning in for that to see what this heel John Cena promo or rebuttal is going to be like.
And there's going to be new entrance. There's going to be a new theme. He's going to get new entrance music out of it.
New theme, new look,
new everything with John Cena.
Everything. He is not going to be. Yeah, this is not going to be the same John Cena, man.
Yeah. So, but Cody, he mixed the right amount of anger, mixed the right amount of emotion, and I told you a couple of weeks ago, and that when we initially talked about this, when you predicted this, when you said, "What if it's Cena? What if Cena turns heel?" and now that he has, and I told you this, if it were to happen, which it did, I said that just imagine how much sympathy Cody's going to get. I mean, and tonight was a great first step. That crowd was beyond pumped for Cody. They are going to be. I mean, you thought they were pulling for Cody the last 2 years against Roman. They're going to be pulling for Cody even more so now, come WrestleMania. So that is going to be very telling whenever they're ready to whenever John Cena's ready to cut that first promo as a heel. The earliest day is March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, of course, Brussels, Belgium, Monday Night Raw. So, because he's advertised for it. So, but regardless of when that is, he's got to do it soon enough. And when he does, it's going to be massive. So, segment of the night for me. I don't know what else there is to say. Michael Bullock, Cody Rhodes, he mixed the right amount of emotion, mixed the right amount of anger, and the whole 9 yards. Absolutely fantastic promo by Cody here. Now we just got to wait for John Cena. We just got to wait to get his rebuttal.
Yeah, and like you said, when that happens, it's going to be something. So, yeah, I mean, segment of the night, I mean, you saw the emotion, the passion coming out of Cody Rhodes, and basically using John Cena's catchphrase, you want some, come get some. And, yeah, it's almost like John Cena brought something out of Cody that like a more serious side of Cody that we haven't seen in a long time. And there's an old saying, you don't want to wake a sleeping giant. I think Rock and John Cena may have awoken something in Cody that they may live to regret. So we'll see what happens with this, and we gotta wait and see the rebuttal from John Cena. And like you said, it's going to be something to watch. A new theme, a new attitude, new everything with John Cena. And And the thing is, the IWC, they've been pleading, they have been begging for WWE to turn John Cena heel. They got it. Now we need to see it come to fruition with whenever he delivers that first promo, which will be this coming. Probably next Monday night on Raw. Nothing more to say.
All right, with that said, we do indeed move right on along. Next up, after this, we had Drew McIntyre go one-on-one with Jimmy Uso. It was Drew McIntyre winning the match in roughly 7 minutes. I believe this goes to Anthony. No, Anthony started the promo segment. So, Michael Bullock, this is yours.
A solid 2.5 for me. Obviously, Drew needed the win to continue his momentum. But the problem is, after the match, Damian Priest came out and attacked him because remember, as the show got started, it was Drew
Priest got
McIntyre
jumped.
who threw a cheap shot at Damian Priest. He jumped him. So as soon as that happened, I was like, yeah, Damian's retaliating. And that's what we got here. So I think it's ultimately leading to Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest at WrestleMania. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I mean, I know some people are probably like, really? This is a WrestleMania caliber match? I mean, some people feel like maybe these two deserve better than having to face each other. But you know what? I still think it could be a good match. I mean, I could see it as a WrestleMania quality match. So I know there's some people who are not really buying into it, but I'm willing to give it a chance. What says you, Fletch?
I'm willing to give it a chance because if you really think about it, Drew never really got a proper match with Damian Priest. Damian Priest last year at WrestleMania cashed in the Money in the Bank and ended up winning the World Heavyweight Championship off of Drew McIntyre, but that was McIntyre's fault. This time around, we may have a proper match, a true fight, a true one-on-one. We may find out if Priest is the real deal, or Drew could get his win back, and then we go from there. We don't know. We'll wait and see how it plays out. As far as the match goes, yeah, about 2.25 for me. And Anthony, I give it to you.
There wasn't much to this match, and most of it took place during the break, so it was hard to get excited about anything that was happening, especially when it felt shorter than expected. So I'll give this about 2.5 stars for the effort. So, of course, Damian Priest getting his revenge and attacking McIntyre to get back at him for the backstage attack at the start of the show. And it took several officials to keep him off of Drew. And Drew, I also thought Drew did a good job selling his knee after the bad landing. So it's definitely looking like a Priest and McIntyre match at WrestleMania. So we'll see how that goes. I'm willing to give it a chance. So even though it's kind of been done before, but we'll see. 2.5 stars. And I believe we have some table setting for next week's SmackDown in Barcelona, Spain.
Yes, from the Arena de Olímpico in Barcelona, Spain. Oh, by the way, if you guys are wondering where's that? Remember the 1992 Summer Olympic Games, the arena where they played the basketball in? That's the arena that they're gonna be next week. So that's where they're gonna be playing. So if you remember the Dream Team, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and all those boys, when they were playing in that arena, that's where they're gonna be next week for SmackDown. That will be the arena where they're gonna be held, and we gotta sell a good one. DIY versus Pretty Deadly, and that will be for the WWE Tag Team Championships. We also have BFAB going one-on-one with Charlotte Flair. There was a little bit of a tit for tat in the back. They decided let's let these ladies fight. Carmelo Hayes going one-on-one with Randy Orton. There was a little bit of a spat in the back. Nick Aldis made the official announcement, said, you know what? Let's do it. Let's have that match. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it there. And then it's going to be Miz TV and his special guest will be none other than the WWE champion Cody Rhodes. Oh, by the way, I apologize. I made a mistake. It's not Pretty Deadly that's getting the shot at the tag team titles. It's actually the Street Profits. It's Profits versus DIY next week from Barcelona. Main event of the evening, as it was Shinsuke Nakamura putting the United States Heavyweight title on the line against LA Knight, the winner of the bout, in 11 minutes and 10 seconds. And new United States Heavyweight Champion, LA Knight. Michael, history made.
Yeah.
I will not say unprecedented crowning because we may have a problem. We may have a problem. We might get a reversal, but allow me to explain. Hold on. Here's the reason why. Yes, LA Knight got the victory. Yes, LA Knight won the title. But it was because of a second referee. The initial referee got hit with the mist by Nakamura. Nakamura hit him with red mist, and there was a ref bump. Then LA Knight used a steel chair, grabbed a chair, and did the blunt force trauma on the chair, threw the evidence away for the referee to make a second referee to come in and make the count 1, 2, 3, and we have the crowning of a new United States Heavyweight Champion. Here is the problem. One, you could call for a disqualification on Shinsuke Nakamura for spraying the red mist on the referee. Two, you could call for a disqualification on LA Knight for grabbing a chair, using that chair with blunt force trauma to get the win and win the United States Heavyweight Championship. It is a dusty finish. This is not a clean cut. So there's an argument both ways where this might not stand. I'm telling you right now, we might need to run this back. So for now, I'll give this about 2.5 to 3. Anthony Florio. Oh boy.
I don't know.
We got a new champion. As of now, LA Knight is US heavyweight champion, but I don't think it's sticking.
It's not. It's not gonna stick. I will be the most surprised guy in the world if it does stick. SmackDown senior referee Charles Robinson was the assigned official for this match. He ended up getting misted by mistake, but it didn't matter in the end. Another referee, Mr. Dan Engler, ran down, and Knight was able to hit BFT to win the title back and end the show on a high note. Solid match with an ending that was not as easy to predict as expected, which is always a plus. Nakamura's entrance is awesome, but needs a little more light in him as he walks up the aisle. One red spotlight would make a huge difference. So But yeah, I mean, questionable outcome, questionable ending there. But for right now, LA Knight is, for now, the United States Heavyweight Champion once again. But the question is, will it hold? MF makes a very convincing argument. I mean, Charles Robinson was the assigned official. Dan Engler counted the fall for LA Knight. Nothing was said right there because it was on the spot. But we'll see next week in Barcelona if Nick Aldis or it's ultimately going to come down to Nick Aldis. Will Nick Aldis allow this to stand? I don't know, but it's going to stand for now. But we gotta watch out on social media if Nick Aldis has a say in this or whatever. So that's all I can do. So I'll give this about 3. I'm going to give it 3 stars for the effort here. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, yes, LA Knight technically is the U.S. champion for now, but will it stand? That's the big question. MF makes a very convincing argument.
And I agree. I think it could. I think it's going to be a no, because you know eventually we're going to have to hear what Nick Aldis has to say about it if he's going to let this stand. And if he's going to be the GM that he is, I think he needs to say, look, I mean, LA Knight, you did win the match, but you won it by disqualification because Shinsuke used because the thing is, he used the miss first before the whole thing with the steel chair. So, but regardless of what it is, I think Shinsuke Nakamura is going to get the title back. He could make a ruling either way where Shinsuke Nakamura would still be the United States champion. So we're going to see what the GM has to say about all this. So 3 stars for me. Overall thoughts.
Anthony Floyer, your lead off?
6.5 to 7 out of 10 for me. Tonight's episode of SmackDown did a lot of work wrapping up storylines from Elimination Chamber while setting up for WrestleMania 41, but the action on the show was lacking. None of the matches felt like they had the level of aggression we have come to expect, and only one of them felt like it had any real consequences. Pretty Deadly winning a tag title shot was one of the highlights of the show, as was most of the street fight with Michin and Chelsea Green, but it's hard to say any of the matches stood out as memorable. The main event between LA Knight and Shinsuke Nakamura was the best performance on the card, but not by a big margin. If I'm going to be honest with you, all in all, it was a forgettable but passable week for the Blue brand. So I'm going to give this in excess of 6.5 to 7 out of 10. So, Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll give it about maybe 6.5 to 7. So, yeah, Florida pretty much said everything. So, Fletch, you have the final say.
Yeah, I'll go 6.5. I think to 7. I think they did a fine job. I wish it would be better, but we'll wait and see how it plays out. All right, we're done. We're out of here. So on Tuesday night, it's a very special edition of Ridiculously Raw. Monday Night Raw from the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, New York City. We already know what's headlining it. CM Punk, Seth freaking Rollins inside of the steel cage. Tuesday, and then, of course, NXT from the theater in Madison Square Garden. We're going to be recapping that as well. You already know what that's going to be. It's all about the unification fight. Julia, Stephanie Vacor, title versus title, champion versus champion, winner takes everything. The NXT Women's North American and NXT Women's Championship both on the line in that and a whole bunch more. Then on Thursday, believe it or not, for the first time in a long time, it's the return of TXN Sports World. We're back, and we got a great show. Obviously, we got Championship Week. all the college football, the college basketball conference championships will be done. We're covering it all. All the Power Five, the SEC, the Big 10, Big 12, ACC final, which is in Charlotte, Big East from Madison Square Garden in New York City. We'll have it all for you. And then, of course, we also will be talking the NHL trading deadline. I know Michael Bullock is going to have a lot to say about what happened with his Boston Bruins. I mean, my goodness, there's a lot of people talking about the Bruins. We'll get into that. We'll get into the most highly anticipated trades that went down. Mikko Ranta, he found a new home. He's no longer with Carolina. He went somewhere else. Where did he go? We'll get into that. How did the Rangers do with their trades? Not bad. And there's also some other big names that got traded at the deadline. Some were literally right at the gate, too, right before 3 o'clock. There was some bombs going off, and we're like, what the heck? So we're going to get into it. That's going to be on Thursday. And then Friday, another edition of Cerebral Smack Talk with TNA, SmackDown Live, and then we're previewing the TNA special event that's going to be going down on Saturday.
We're going to be previewing that on Tuesday night because that show's next Friday.
Oh, I stand corrected. All right, then. So we'll cover that on Tuesday then. And until then, that's it. We're done. For Michael Bullock, for Anthony Floyo, I'm Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you all on Tuesday.